Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. Jayden Daniels is back on the field, at least in practice. And for Washington Commanders fans, that is news worth talking about. Just a few weeks ago, the quarterback's status was uncertain after suffering a painful elbow injury in a game against the Seattle Seahawks. A moment that instantly raised alarm bells for the team and fans alike. The injury was brutal, the kind that can derail a rookie season and shake a team that is already struggling. Initially, Daniels was not cleared for contact, leaving the Commanders to navigate their games without the young quarterback, who has shown flashes of talent and promise in the limited opportunities he has had this season. Then came a glimmer of hope when he participated in a limited practice, giving coaches and teammates a reason to believe that a return might not be as far off as feared. And now, on Thursday, the news hit. Daniels is a full participant in practice, signaling a major step forward in his recovery and a potential return to the field that fans have been eagerly anticipating. The Washington Commanders organization shared the update via X, and while it does not guarantee he will play in the upcoming games, it is a clear sign that Daniels is moving in the right direction, and that his elbow is healing well enough to withstand full football activity for a team sitting at 3 wins and 9 losses. And out of playoff contention, the timing might not change the standings, but it certainly can impact morale, both for the locker room and for the fans who have endured a tough season. The question now becomes whether Daniels will actually see game action in Week 14 when the Commanders face the Minnesota Vikings. With nothing at stake in terms of playoff implications, some might wonder why put a player at risk, especially one coming off a serious injury. This echoes the controversy that already surrounds head coach Dan Quinn, who faced criticism for keeping Daniels in a game that turned into a blowout, ultimately leading to the elbow injury that sidelined him for weeks. Critics argue that playing a young quarterback late in the season, when there is little to gain, is a gamble. Yet others would point out that every snap is a learning opportunity, and for Daniels, experience on the field is invaluable, especially as he develops into a cornerstone for the Commanders' future. Football is not just about wins and losses, it is also about growth, development, and preparing the next generation of talent to lead the team in the seasons ahead. Daniels' return to practice, therefore, is more than just a health update. It is a critical step in his ongoing development, giving him the chance to rebuild rapport with his teammates, refine his skills under the guidance of the coaching staff, and gain the confidence needed to handle the pressures of starting in the NFL. For those who have followed Daniels' season closely, it is impossible not to notice the limited opportunities he has had to prove himself. Appearing in only 6 games, he has completed 60.5% of his passes, amassing 1,184 yards, and posting an impressive touchdown-to-interception ratio of 8-2. These numbers may not tell the full story, but they indicate a quarterback with the ability to make accurate throws, read defenses, and make smart decisions under pressure. Offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury has been vocal about his desire to see Daniels back on the field, emphasizing the importance of continued growth and development. According to Sports Illustrated, Kingsbury highlighted that the team wants Daniels to continue learning, to continue evolving as a player, and to build chemistry with his offensive weapons as the Commanders look toward next season. The emphasis here is clear. While the current season may not have delivered the success fans hoped for, the work being done with Daniels is an investment in the future, preparing him to lead an offense that can compete at a higher level. Kingsbury's approach reflects a long-term mindset, prioritizing development over immediate results, which could prove invaluable as Daniels gains more experience and confidence on the field. The return of Daniels also provides a glimmer of hope for the remainder of the season, however slim. The Commanders have a series of winnable games ahead, starting with the Vikings and then moving on to face the New York Giants, while the schedule becomes significantly tougher afterward, with 2 matchups against the Philadelphia Eagles and a clash with the Dallas Cowboys. The possibility of Daniels returning injects excitement and potential energy into these games. Fans may not expect a miracle turnaround, but the presence of their starting quarterback, healthy and ready to compete, can make the difference in tight contests and help the team build momentum for the future. Beyond the statistics and game outcomes, having Daniels back signals stability in the quarterback position, allowing the coaching staff to evaluate his performance, test offensive strategies, and lay the groundwork for a more competitive campaign next year. For a franchise that has faced challenges on multiple fronts this season, including injuries, inconsistent play, and criticism of coaching decisions, the sight of Daniels on the practice field is a reminder that progress, no matter how incremental, is being made. Moreover, the story of Jayden Daniels is one that resonates beyond the numbers. It is about resilience, determination, and the relentless drive to return from adversity. Elbow injuries are never minor, especially for quarterbacks who rely on arm strength, accuracy, and precision. The fact that Daniels has progressed from non-contact to limited practice, and now to full participation, speaks volumes about his work ethic, his commitment to the team, and his desire to make an impact. Teammates and coaches alike have likely witnessed the grind, the rehab sessions, and the mental fortitude required to reach this point. Football is as much a mental game as it is physical, and Daniels' journey back onto the practice field demonstrates that he possesses the mindset necessary to handle challenges and come back stronger. Every drill, every throw, every snap taken during practice is another step in regaining confidence, building rhythm, and preparing to perform at the highest level once the opportunity rises. For fans, it is an inspiring narrative, one that highlights the human element behind the game, the struggles and triumphs that unfold off the field before the touchdowns and highlight reels ever occur. As the Commanders prepare for the next few weeks, all eyes will inevitably be on Daniels. The coaching staff must weigh the risks and rewards carefully, considering his health, the competitive nature of the upcoming games, and the overall strategy for integrating him back into the offense. Yet, for fans and analysts alike, the fact that Daniels is now a full participant in practice is a milestone worth celebrating. It opens the door for potential game action, sparks discussions about what he can achieve, and injects optimism into a team and fan base that has experienced disappointment and frustration. Even if the wins do not come immediately, the experience Daniels gains, the chemistry developed with his teammates, and the lessons learned under the guidance of Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury could pay dividends in future seasons. It is a story of perseverance, careful management, and the enduring hope that the best is yet to come, even in a season that has not gone as planned. Jayden Daniels' return to full practice is not just a personal victory. It is a chapter in the larger narrative of the Washington Commanders' ongoing journey to rebuild, grow, and compete at the highest level in the NFL. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. In a shocking twist that has sent ripples through the NFL, the explosive wide receiver CeeDee Lamb has officially signed with the Washington Commanders, leaving fans and analysts alike questioning the future of one of the league's most storied rivalries. Rumors had been circulating for weeks, whispers of behind-the-scenes negotiations and late-night calls between agents and front offices. But until now, nothing had been confirmed, and then, out of seemingly nowhere, the bombshell dropped. Lamb, the dynamic playmaker who had electrified crowds with his extraordinary agility, precise route running, and uncanny ability to make defenders look foolish, would be taking his talents to Washington, effectively bypassing the Dallas Cowboys, the team that had been his home and the focal point of so many highlight reels over the past seasons. The sheer audacity of the move has left many in disbelief, as the Cowboys were widely expected to retain their star receiver, the centerpiece of their offense, the guy who had become synonymous with their resurgence in recent years. It was not just a free agency signing, it was a statement. A power play that seemed almost cinematic in its execution. The Commanders, a team long criticized for inconsistency and missed opportunities, suddenly found themselves the center of every conversation. A team that had gone from being an afterthought to the talk of the league overnight. All thanks to a single signing that no one saw coming. Sources close to the matter suggest that the negotiations were anything but ordinary. Lamb's representatives reportedly engaged in a careful, calculated series of discussions, weighing options, gauging interest, and strategically keeping the Cowboys on edge. There were hints that Dallas made a competitive offer, one that on paper would seem difficult to refuse, but the allure of a new challenge, a fresh environment, and a franchise that promised him a central role in its future proved irresistible. It is said that the Commanders offered Lamb not just a lucrative contract, but a vision, a chance to be the undisputed leader of an offense and a symbol of a franchise that has long sought a definitive identity. The narrative practically writes itself. A star athlete, frustrated by the limitations or perceived lack of vision in his previous organization, takes a leap of faith into the unknown, and suddenly, the NFL landscape is transformed. Analysts are already speculating on how this will affect the dynamics in the NFC East, with the Cowboys now facing the difficult task of reshaping their offensive game plan without the player who had become integral to their scheme, and the Commanders gaining a weapon capable of altering the trajectory of their season from day one. The implications are monumental, not just for the two franchises involved, but for the league as a whole, as this move could spark a domino effect of trades, signings, and strategy shifts in the coming months. Fans have, predictably, erupted across social media platforms, divided almost evenly between shock, admiration, and outrage. Cowboys supporters are expressing disbelief, lamenting the loss of their star receiver, the player who had been a beacon of hope, a consistent source of excitement in a team that has alternated between brilliance and frustration over the years. Memes have flooded the internet, highlighting every possible what-if scenario, imagining Lamb lining up across from his former teammates, making jaw-dropping catches, and reminding the Cowboys organization of the talent they allowed to slip away. On the other side, Commanders fans are reveling in a sense of vindication, a long-awaited moment in which their team has not only made headlines but done so in a way that demands attention and respect. It is, as many have described, a David versus Goliath moment, where a franchise that has often lived in the shadows of its more celebrated rivals suddenly ascends to the center of the national conversation, armed with a player who embodies speed, skill, and the kind of charisma that makes highlight reels go viral. The narrative practically guarantees that every game Lamb plays in a Commander's uniform will be under intense scrutiny. Every route, every catch, every touchdown watched through a lens of both expectation and skepticism. The league thrives on these moments, the kind of stories that fuel discussion, ignite debate, and create legends. And now, CeeDee Lamb finds himself at the heart of one such story, a story that promises to be told and retold for years. Insiders suggest that the deal was structured to give Lamb not just financial security, but flexibility and influence within the team's offensive strategy, a level of agency that is often reserved for quarterbacks and franchise-altering players. This aspect of the contract hints at a deeper trend in the league, one in which elite players are increasingly seeking not just compensation, but a voice in how their talents are deployed, how the team leverages their unique skills, and how their personal brand interacts with the franchise's identity. It is a reflection of the modern athlete's mindset, no longer content to simply perform. They want to shape the narrative, influence the culture, and in cases like this, take control of their professional destiny in ways that previous generations could scarcely imagine. For Lamb, the Commanders represent both a canvas and a challenge. The canvas is the opportunity to be the centerpiece of an offense, the player around whom the team's fortunes can pivot. And the challenge is the weight of expectation, the need to justify the audacity of the move, and to prove that his decision to leave Dallas was not merely a gamble, but a calculated step toward greatness. The drama is palpable, and the stakes could not be higher, as the eyes of the football world turn toward Washington, where a team that has long sought identity, consistency, and success suddenly finds itself armed with a game-changing piece. The ripple effects of this signing are expected to resonate well beyond the immediate fan bases. Analysts are already discussing the potential changes to the NFC East hierarchy, the way defenses will need to adapt, and the psychological impact on both the Cowboys and Commanders' locker rooms. There is talk of renewed rivalries, of a player who knows the tendencies of his former teammates and can exploit them in ways that add a layer of intrigue and tension to every matchup. The narrative practically begs for storylines that will capture the imagination of fans, commentators, and sports media alike. Will Lamb become the hero of a resurgent Commanders franchise? Or will the weight of expectation prove too heavy? Can the Cowboys adapt, overcome, and find a new identity without their star wideout? Or will this move haunt them in key divisional battles for years to come? The questions are endless, the speculation wild, and the conversation is just beginning. In a league built on drama, spectacle, and the constant churn of headlines, few moments capture the imagination quite like this one. A high-profile, high-stakes move that alters expectations, rewrites narratives, and leaves everyone on edge, waiting to see what comes next. And that is exactly what has happened here, with CeeDee Lamb stepping into a new chapter, one filled with opportunity, challenge, and, above all, A chance to leave an indelible mark on the game as the NFL world digests the news. The focus inevitably turns to how Lamb will integrate into the Commanders' system. Sources suggest that he will not be treated as just another receiver, but as the central cog in an offense designed to maximize his explosive talent. With schemes tailored to highlight his speed, his ability to create separation, and his knack for making defenders miss in the open field, coaches are reportedly thrilled at the prospect of designing plays around him, while teammates are eager to learn from one of the brightest young stars in the league. The psychological impact is equally significant. Having a player of Lamb's caliber can elevate morale, inspire younger talent, and foster a sense of confidence and urgency within the squad. Meanwhile, the Cowboys face the delicate task of regrouping, finding a replacement capable of filling the void, and recalibrating expectations in a division where every point, every yard, and every play carries monumental weight. The domino effect of a single player's move is astounding, reshaping not just tactical considerations, but the emotional landscape of entire teams and fan bases alike. In a league obsessed with narratives, moments like this are rare, the kind of storylines that generate endless analysis, debate, and storytelling opportunities, both on television and across digital platforms. And so, the Burbier and Ho continues. Sports talk shows, podcasts, and fan forums are alight with speculation, dissecting every angle of Lamb's decision, every detail of the contract, and every implication for the teams involved. Headlines will continue to proclaim this as one of the most audacious moves in recent NFL history. A shift that underscores the fluidity, drama, and unpredictability of professional football. What seemed impossible a few weeks ago has become reality, and the ripple effect will be felt across the league for months, perhaps years to come. The Commanders have made a statement, one that says they are serious, ambitious, and willing to do whatever it takes to compete at the highest level, while the Cowboys are left to ponder how they will respond to a challenge that hits both on and off the field. For fans, analysts, and casual observers alike, there is a magnetic pull to the unfolding story, a narrative so compelling that it transcends statistics, standings, and schedules, becoming a drama that must be watched, dissected, and debated. CeeDee Lamb's move to Washington is more than a signing. It is a seismic event, a turning point, and a story that will define seasons, shape legacies, and remind everyone why the NFL is not just a sport, but a theater of ambition, talent, and drama at its absolute finest. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.